Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are coming back and if you are new, my name is Bianca Asiya Saeed and I am your motherhood empowerment coach. I fully believe that women do not have to sacrifice motherhood to be personally fulfilled, nor do mothers have to sacrifice being personally fulfilled to feel fulfilled in motherhood. So that's why I exist, and that's what I will continue teaching about for forever. So today I wanted to talk about the misconception that parents can control their children. Have you ever felt stressed out or frustrated because of the things that your child does, and really find yourself just thinking like, gosh, I wish they wouldn't do that. Why do they do that? I've told them so many times and they don't listen and blah, 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 blah. Take a deep breath and just realize that you cannot control any one person's behavior, and that includes your child. So often, I think as parents, we get into this role where it's like, I'm the boss, and I've talked about this before too. I'm the boss, you need to do what I say, and if you don't, then there's either something wrong with you or you are just defiant and disobedient. And that's just not true, especially for super young developing children. A lot of times, our children are trying to tell us something, or they're trying to communicate something to us through their behavior or their words, and we're just not paying attention or listening. Other times they're just, being kids. So there is a difference there, and it does take a lot of mindfulness and slowing down to be present and pay attention to actually notice the difference between the two, and to actually maintain that calm, peaceful, patient mindset that you want to achieve. So I was, I don't know if it was a movie or a real life experience that I had seen, but my video about taking your kids to restaurants really is what got me motivated to make this second video, spurred by something else I think I saw on TV, because, and I'll link that below, you need to take your kids to restaurants video down below. But I was just caught up in the fact that I wanted to take my daughter somewhere, and the fact that sometimes I resist doing that because I don't know how she'll act, or I anticipate that she'll act in a way that's not pleasing to myself or others. And I talked a lot about letting kids be kids in that video and how that helps us all. So you can check that out. But, I think this whole trying to control our children just comes from a fear of how we will react, snap and yell or hit them or whatever it is. The fact that we reach a certain limit and our stress, and we don't know how we'll react. And then also we really anticipate how other people will feel. Like, we look around the restaurant and think like, oh my gosh, what do they think of me as a parent? They probably think I have no control over my child. They probably think that I'm a bad parent. They probably think I don't discipline my child, or that my child runs the show, or they're probably disturbed by all the noise they're making, or whatever. You cannot control your children. The best thing that you can do is to encourage behavior that you'd like to see more of, and discourage behavior you don't want to see as much of. And this is just a long-term game. This is not something that happens overnight. You're not going to tell your daughter to stop crawling under the table if you don't like that or whatever, and then the next day she never does it again. It's not, kids forget. Kids, they're very good at being present, so they get caught up in just the moment and like what it is they want to do. Their body needs movement. They're really curious about what's under that table, and they don't realize that a lot of times us moms take their behavior personally. They don't realize that we think that they're not listening because they don't respect us. They're not thinking that. They're just thinking, wow, it'd be cool to climb under the table. They're not thinking all the things that we're thinking. So I just want you to take a deep breath, exhale, and let it go. You cannot control their behavior, nor should you try. I mean, it's a lot of stress and overwhelm and anxiety that comes with trying to control another person's behavior. And it doesn't work, you know? We can do these things at home where we encourage and discourage desirable and undesirable behavior. But other than that, man, you're doing your best. Give yourself a break. You can't control them. And especially when kids do things that are super outrageous or super off the wall, or they say, they curse, or they smack someone, or they run away from you in public, like that is not, stop beating yourself up about that, okay? Kids just do wild things sometimes. I mean, they are kids, So I just want you to let go of that self-judgment or that self-criticism when your kids behave in really almost any type of way, because it is not directly your fault, okay? You cannot control your children. So this really showcases excuse me. This showcases the kind of transformation of thought that happens when you use what's called the model, or it's also known as CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It's just where you look at a situation and decide to have different thoughts about it, because then you'll have different feelings about it and your behavior will change based on that, and therefore your environment or your circumstances will change. So this is something that I have been using for the last few years, and it's brilliant. It's just a simple technique that you sit down, you reflect, you decide what thoughts and feelings you want to have, and then you engineer your thinking. It's very powerful when you're consistent with it and you're really dedicated to it and you're honest about what you write down. So I want to share this little worksheet with you. It's a new and improved worksheet. I had an old worksheet that was kind of basic, and I just wanted to make it better and put in some, to make sure that the prompts were really thought-provoking. So go ahead and click to download that, and you can start changing the way that you think about controlling your children. And the first step of that would be to just acknowledge that kids do unexpected things, or kids are unpredictable, or kids are kids. And then you'll go ahead and write down your thoughts about that. Your thoughts about, think of an annoying thing that your kid does, or something that stresses you out about what your kid does, right? Like for me, I would put, what would I put? My daughter runs way ahead of me in public. And it scares me. Okay, I'm not going to jump ahead. So my daughter runs ahead of me in public. And so the thoughts I'm thinking are like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to snatch her up. She's going to fall and break her teeth, and just like crazy stuff. Like she's going to, this just shows my thoughts, right? She's going to run into somebody and knock over a baby, and like the baby's going to have to go to the hospital. Just all these crazy thoughts. And then thinking those things, the next step, number 3, is it makes me feel anxious. It makes me feel terrified. It makes me feel like stressed out, and like I need to grab onto her and control her every move. And so my actions are that, I'm shouting at her because I feel like she can't hear me, and like I'm really tense in my body. I carry all this stress up in my shoulders. Maybe I'm not as nice to her. Maybe I grab her arm because I need that control back, whatever. And then the result is that I just feel bad. And I feel like parenthood is something that is, that I can't handle, right? Like, and I just feel bad about myself and stuff. So that would be the last step, is that all of these thoughts and feelings and actions make me feel like a bad parent, right? So that's just one example of how you can use the model to really rapidly transform your thoughts. And it really gives great insight into the way that you think as an individual and as a parent. Sometimes we're not aware of the way that we think, and how what we think affects how we feel, and so on and so forth. So this has been super helpful for me, and I just want to share it with you all, because when I was a brand new mother and even just as an adult in the world, like I didn't have this tool, and I could have used it. But, you know, God knows best. I have it now, and I want to share it with you all. So go ahead and download that below, and then you can check out the Take Your Kid to Restaurants video, and let me know what you think. Bye, ladies.